This program is made possible thanks to the generous support from the Ohio Farm Bureau members.
For nearly 100 years,
Ohio Farm Bureau has been bringing people together.
Join us in the journey.
Together.
Together.
Together with farmers.
For years, under the hot July sun, kids have been walking rows of corn at the Dull Homestead Farm. Detasseling corn earns the kids money and produces hybrid seed corn used by farmers to grow next year's crop. The day begins early. Kids from all over Southwest Ohio gather. Crew assignments are read. And it's out to the fields.
I want to learn and make new experiences and make memories on the farm. I'm going to be removing the pollinators off the top of the corn.
Literally pulling the tassels out so that it doesn't let it pollinate the plant itself.
Detasseling is really just so that the corn cross-pollinates, which is the male pollinates the female.
2 varieties of corn are planted in a field. Each plant has both male and female parts. The tassel, the male part, must be removed from the female so it doesn't pollinate itself. When the male and female plants cross-pollinate, the result is a field of hybrid seed corn.
The reason for hybrid seed is mainly yield. You end up with a plant that is taller, an ear that is bigger, generally healthier, and produce 200 to 300 bushel an acre corn. One advantage we have here in Ohio is we about always have humidity. And the key to silks being receptive to the pollen is moisture. The other factor, obviously, heat is a factor. The ideal temperature really is in the 85 to 86 degree range for corn growth. You like to seed periods of rain during pollination. On the other hand, you don't like to see so much rain that you can't get machines through. And that's one reason we still use a lot of kids. There are growers that rely exclusively on cutters and pullers and then have some kids come up in the end to clean up. I like to have a good number of kids available, so where you've got so much rain that you're sloshing through the mud and machines aren't going to go. And the corn doesn't stop growing. We need the kids.
To begin detasseling, a clipper goes through each field getting the first tassels that grow. 3 days later, it's clipped again for the new growth, and so on.
No matter what kind of equipment you use for cutting, the last 2 passes through the field have to be by hand. The kids are pretty critical for us.
It was a lot of hard work, and it's just really uncomfortable because you're really hot. If it's a really, really long field, if it's like a mile-long field, you'll get 75% of the way through, 80%, and then you're just like really tired and your arms are sore, especially if it's a full pull, which is just that it hasn't been clipped yet, and you have to pull every tassel. And every corn plant has a tassel, so a lot of corn plants.
It was hot. There wasn't much air.
It was worse than I thought it'd be.
Generally, when I calculate how many kids I need for a field for a day, I usually figure a kid will do about a half acre, and this is a full pull per day. This year I think we had 200, and this year really went pretty well. Overall, this year's group was a good group, and the crew leaders were outstanding.
I think taking the job has helped Connor with a little more confidence and a little more seeing what a real job was like, and that it's hard work, and if you want the reward at the end to get the paycheck, then he's saving up for college and he's saving up for a car, and so those things are important to him.
I think it was a little harder than I expected. I mean, I grew up around it, but I thought it was going to be a hair easier.
We were looking for a job for Hannah to start. Her father passed away. It'll be 2 years this month of cancer.
We were really close. He taught me quite a good bit, probably patience in getting through things. overcoming having strength.
Because you're just nervous, you got to do it, Hannah. You've got to get a job. We've got to get you out of this house because she's homeschooled. I think this has been a big part of her healing, and she just did it. And so it's just hard because it's what her dad did. I've seen a lot more smile on her face.
They get to know each other. There's nothing like thrashing through the mud when it's raining. Everybody comes down to a common denominator. Your makeup's gone, you don't have fancy clothes. That's when you get to know somebody. And that's what happens out here, and we've seen it every year. You have kids that come out and just do it, and it's no big deal, and never look back. They just do the job. You have kids that struggle through their first pass through the field, and after the first round, they're done. They don't want to do it anymore. And you have everything in between. But we've never hesitated to hire anybody that wants to come out. Everything after harvest is geared towards protecting the seed. So it's dried and then shelled and stored. And then the first part of November, we start conditioning and bagging. I would say from what we have this year, it'll be somewhere in the 60 to 70,000 bag range. And it may be more than that. You always hope for more, but you never really know what kind of year you had until February or March of the next year, when all the testing is done and you know what your purity is. And so about the time you're ready to start the next year, you find out how you did last year.